Hey guys, and welcome back to another Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition video, and in today's video we're going to be talking about initiative. We all know initiative. It is what kickstarts a encounter in your Dungeons & Dragons games, and it rolls to see what order everyone goes in, who's at the top, who's next, and so on. And today I'm going to discuss 5 different variants slash rules you can implement into your Dungeons & Dragons games to potentially improve initiative or change it for the better, so that you could do something different other than the bog standard. Roll your initiative, add your dex modifier, and go from there. First one is something I call the critical initiative, which is when rolling initiative, if a PC, NPC, or creature were to roll a natural 20 on their initiative, they would then get advantage on their first attack for that combat. Similarly, if they were to roll a nat 1, they would then get disadvantage on their first attack. And the reason I did this is because I implement this rule in my own homebrew game, and it has proven to be probably the most popular rule I've ever implemented, because players don't feel like they're wasting natural 20s on initiative. And that is something that I really like, and the natural 1 aspect is just to balance it out. So if a natural 20 is really good, nat 1 kind of has to be the opposite. The next type of initiative is the roll each round. This initiative system is as easy as it appears. After every round of combat, all creatures partaking in the combat roll initiative again. This means each round is different and forces players to adapt their combat strategies on the fly, because they don't know what order the next round of combat is going to be. I would say though that I would only really use this rule for initiative in smaller groups, such as parties of 2 to 3 players. 4 would be pushing it, and the main reason for that is because it does drastically slow down combat. And when this happens, people kind of might get a little bit frustrated or a little bit bored. So I would kind of keep this rule to the smaller groups and avoid playing it with large groups. But once again, it is very good for forcing players to think on their feet. And the next 3 initiatives that I'm going to be talking about can all be found on page 270 of the Dungeon Master's Guide. So if you have one, go to page 270 and it'll be sitting there waiting for you. The first one is initiative score. And what this initiative system does is it gets rid of rolling initiative altogether. And instead, each creature has an initiative score equal to 10 plus their dexterity modifier. This speeds up the process of initiative unbelievably, because the DM is not sitting there waiting for every player to tell them what they got on their initiative. He doesn't need to keep track of all the monsters' initiatives. Instead, the DM can prepare initiative orders for the encounters well in advance, because he knows what a monster's initiative is, because it's just a simple 10 plus dex. And likewise with the players, he can just have them pre-written and he's ready to go. The next one is side initiative. So basically this system splits initiative into groups rather than everyone acting individually. So one player rolls a d20 for their group or side, and the DM does so for the enemies. And whoever gets the highest goes first, essentially. So if the player was higher, then all the players get to go, and then all the creatures they're fighting get to go. When all the creatures of both sides have gone, the next round of combat, should I say, begins. This method is much easier for the DM to kind of keep track of which creatures have and haven't had a turn or attacked, because sometimes when you're looking at a list of 10 to 20 monsters, including the players, it's difficult to keep track where you are on that list sometimes if you look up and away from it. So this system essentially is like the players go, then the DM goes, and then the players go, and vice versa. Or continue on, should I say. Last one I'm going to be discussing is probably the most different one, and it's called speed factor. So for this system, everyone does roll initiative, but instead of using your dexterity modifier, you instead refer to a table, which details different modifiers depending on the action a creature wants to take and the creature's size. So for example, if you were a halfling wizard casting a first level spell, your initiative modifier for that round would be +1, because a small sized creature gets a +2 modifier, and for casting a first level spell, there's a -1 modifier. This system does involve rolling initiative every round and forces the players to be decisive on what actions and attacks they want to take, because once they've rolled initiative for a specific action, they can't change their mind by the time their turn comes around, no matter the circumstances. So basically, you're forcing players to be really decisive on their attacks and who they're attacking and what spells they are casting. So guys, they are 5 different initiative systems / rules that you can implement into your games. If you haven't implemented any of these, please do say so in the comments, the success or failures you've had with them. And please tell me of any other combat systems or initiative systems that you implemented that I have not talked about in this video. Guys, please do consider giving the video a like and subscribe for much more Dungeons & Dragons content, and I shall see you all in the next video.